Welcome back,
Hi.
Roomies. It's Roomies Review the Movies. I'm Maria, and this is Lindsay, a real life former college roommates who both love movies. Lindsay has a degree in film, and I reviewed film for like 20 years, but there are some films that we did not see, so we're trying to, go back and catch the ones we missed.
Yep.
And so we decided to do a double feature for this last episode of the year for Black Christmas, 1974 and 2019.
Yes. And yeah, we watched both of them. I think one is on Max and the other one I watched on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I believe that's 1974 is on Prime. I don't know.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
1974 is pretty classic film as far as horror and thriller films are concerned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Came out in 1974. It's pretty early on in the genre.
Yeah, they
Has some
said it kind of jump
similarities with
started it.
Halloween. Yeah. But it's a Canadian film.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Which I did not know.
No.
But it's inspired kind of like by that urban legend where there's a babysitter and they keep getting these prank calls, right? Crank calls, and the person on the phone is threatening them, and the babysitter finally calls the police and is like, "Hey, this I keep getting these really bad phone calls from this phone number. Can you trace it?" The policemen trace it, and they tell her the phone call is coming from inside the house. So that was already kind of an urban legend before this, so they kind of took a lot of those elements and put it in this film.
Yeah. I remember that part in Scream.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a pretty popular trope.
Yeah, pretty popular trope. Um, I think this is probably the first time I saw it on screen.
Okay.
So I was at that point I was like, "Oh, which came first, like the movie
Mm-hmm.
or the story?" But it was still a story. But
So, how old were you when you saw the first one?
oh, well, I mean, when I say it was the first time I saw it on screen, I mean it's the oldest depiction I've seen on screen.
Oh, okay.
But I saw this movie last year for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because I had seen like the posters for Black Christmas 2019, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, isn't that an older film too?
Mm-hmm.
I'd always been curious, and then it popped up, on my Amazon TV one day because it was probably spying on me or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure, let's go ahead. They're not.
Right. Yeah. I saw the poster in the theater seeing something else. And when I saw Black Christmas, I automatically think like black people Christmas.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why are these white girls here? I don't understand. I can't hear you.
Like Black Christmas film, and it brought up a bunch of films of Black people at Christmas.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's what I mean.
Right. Right. Because that's what we think of.
Yeah,
So.
can't blame you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so
But
this
no.
story follows a group of sorority sisters who are like partying over the winter break they're about to have. They receive some threatening phone calls, some really kind of disgusting phone calls. Uh, Eventually, they're all like murdered and stalked by a killer that we never see. Sometimes we see from the killer's perspective. Um, and like there's like a whole little disturbing storyline with this family that maybe the killer belongs to that he kind of rattles on about but you never really get too many answers, right?
Yeah.
And at some point I know I started to think maybe there are two killers because he seems
Mm-hmm.
to be in so many places
Mm-hmm.
so easily. There's another theory that maybe he grew up in the house and he's returning to the house, right? And that's how he can move around so quickly.
See, I saw that as the plot for the 2006 Black Christmas.
See, I haven't seen 2006 Black Christmas, so I can't tell you.
Yeah. I read the plot
Mhm.
and they said it was somebody that grew up in the house and they came back.
Okay.
Uh-oh, I can't hear you. I can't. Uh-oh.
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know what happened.
That was weird, but yeah.
But it has a lot of this movie has a lot of themes in it. It came out right after Roe v. Wade had passed. So back when abortion was legal.
Mm-hmm.
Remember those
Right.
days?
Right.
Um, so there's the theme of abortion going throughout the movie. One of the main characters saying, that's what she's going to do. She tells her boyfriend about it and everything. And he's got this whole career where he wants to be a pianist, which, okay, sure. Go for your dreams. And
Yeah.
she's got things that she wants to do too. And she feels like this is the best decision. Um, and he later comes back and is like, no, why don't you give up everything you want and be my wife and have my
Yeah.
baby? And he's
It
like,
was so
shocked
such a
when
weird
she's
proposal.
no, right?
Right. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna jump for joy at that proposal.
Right. And this is why you're proposing to me.
Right. Yeah, I feel elated.
Feel very special.
Right.
Right. Definitely soulmate behavior. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
no.
Should have did nothing else push her to abortion. That show did. Like,
It's like, I don't want to get married. I don't want to have your baby.
right. It's not gonna happen, sir.
Even less now than
Yeah.
before.
Right.
This just confirms my decision.
Right. I'm going with the right option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do like how you have like so many different characters in the movie. Like everybody has very different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know what's up with so much drinking in the movie because like their house mom drinks a lot and like she hides the liquor real
Ooh, she
hard,
hides that
like in
everywhere.
the toilet and stuff. I'm like, why are we
The
doing
toilet
all this?
the toilet was too far for me. And I'm sure don't nobody want a sip of whatever that was she was drinking. So she would have been
Even though it
fine.
was like $3.
Yeah, she would have been fine just keeping it. But that is a bona fide alcoholic the way that she was hiding stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure why she had to hide it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
because they
know
probably
they're like maybe
underage.
weren't supposed to have it, but I know they're not going through your drawers. Like,
Right, right. But I mean, if it's that bad that while you brushing your teeth you need a swig, then
she was rinsing her mouth out with liquor. Girl, what?
maybe she knows she's an alcoholic and she just don't want to be judged. Maybe that's why she hides it.
In places where other people can find it?
Well,
Just put it in your room, hon.
yeah, but sometimes you can't get
Put
to
it
the room.
under the
It's a big
mattress, like
house.
or something. I don't know, girl. Like, but like that was like in the toilet. Though.
The
Come on,
toilet
come
was too far.
on.
The toilet was too far.
That was wild.
Yeah.
And then you also have Margot Kidder, who goes on to play Lois Lane in the Superman films in this movie. And her character Barb also likes to drink a lot.
Mm.
And she has a smart mouth too. She said some things to her mom.
Mm.
And I was just like, oh my god. She called her a gold-plated hoe. I was like, what?
What is that?
What does that mean? What kind of status is that?
Right. That must be the best whore out here, boy.
And why are you saying this to your mom? Like,
right. Just spilling all her tea.
like, oh my gosh, maybe I can see why you might not go home, huh?
Right. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
She's gold plated, boy.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Gold. Better than silver and bronze, I guess.
Hey, she knows something we don't.
Right. There's also like this party they have for the foster kids, the local foster kids. And they're all drinking there too. And I'm like, what is happening? Like,
hey, some kids you gotta drink. You gotta drink.
You volunteered to do this.
They kind of did.
You can do is stay sober around the children.
It's the least. That's the least they could do. But
At least not get so drunk you're slurring.
right? It's levels to it.
Mm. But yeah, so there's lots of very famous kills in this movie. The one where the first girl gets suffocated with the plastic, and then they move her body to the attic, and you see her
You have
uh,
a movie.
rocking chair. The one with the house mom where she gets just pulled up by like this giant
Yeah.
hook. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. There's also the cat.
Let's talk about that killing here for a second.
Yeah.
Why the hell was she up in that attic? Ain't no cat going up there.
The cats get in the most wild places, They really
but
do.
but up there,
What did you really need with the cat at this moment that could
right,
not wait?
you were leaving. Unless the cat was going with you, you
Hey,
were gone.
cat's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I was like, this is the dumbest killing,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But
Both times with the cat, honestly. Like,
yeah, right,
like
right.
leave the cat alone.
Right.
Oh, there's also the death with the glass unicorn figurine. Very famous.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was Margot Kiddo's character, right? Yes, because she had the wreath with like all the liquor bottles on it. I was like, oh my god,
It was a thing. It was
y'all,
definitely a
like,
thing.
this is normal.
Yeah.
But eventually, they do go to the police. The police are no help, as typical.
Right.
I think
The
either they just don't believe them, or they're not. They're just stupid. Like,
I think
okay,
it's a combination.
yeah.
Yeah. But the fellatio was hilarious.
No, she was mad at them. That's what it was. Like, girl, why did you?
Especially when the lieutenants got involved and that one on the side was dying
Laughing?
Oh my God.
Just dying. Oh.
Right.
So, but eventually they realize things are actually happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
We also have the boyfriend who is insisting on apologizing and trying to win the girl back or something. I don't know. He just won't take no for an answer and leave her
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
Now she's terrified, of course, because everybody else is dead and she doesn't know where this killer is and all this stuff. And now the boyfriend is prowling outside the house and like it could be him. She doesn't know. Maybe he is the
Right.
killer.
Everybody's a suspect.
Right. And she's like
Mm-hmm.
down in the basement and he sees her down there and is like trying to talk to her through the window down there, which is like, what?
It was so weird.
What are you doing?
Right. Right. That was so
But
weird.
he eventually like breaks in
Mm-hmm.
and she's so freaked out. She attacks him. The cops find them. She's like almost passed out or whatever. Um, they think one of the cops is like, "Oh, I knew he was a killer all along." No, you didn't. You didn't know anything. You didn't even really try.
Right. Right.
You know. And they've got her like sedated in bed with
Mm-hmm.
all these strange men everywhere. I was like, "What is happening?"
Right. Right. That was the weirdest scene because I'm like, what happened to her to where they're all sitting around?
They just put her in bed. They just gave her drugs and put her in bed.
Yeah.
And then left her alone in the house and decided not to search the house until the state police got there.
Yeah. Like none of that makes sense.
You don't think she needs to be seen by a doctor?
Not at all. Not at all.
And like it's a very
Just,
small town and they don't really have a lot of like public facilities or whatever, but like huh?
yeah. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. But the underlining theme, which is probably sign of the times, is that there's a lot of misogyny in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So It's like it's these women that's being attacked, but nobody's really paying attention to them. It's the whole pregnancy situation. It's it's a lot. It's a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I like
What?
how in this film they kind of make it feel very everyday, normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Which
that
I'm sure that's probably what it was for the most part.
that's what it is for the most part.
Hmm.
Now, right?
Yeah.
So it feels very real, and you can
Mhm.
also feel like how scary that is.
Right. Right. And then at the end, all these men want to come in and save the day, and it's like y'all weren't trying to listen in the first place.
And they didn't do anything.
Hmm. Right. Right. And then that man who was looking for his daughter, and it was like, y'all not really trying to pay attention to him. Is it because he has a daughter and not a son? Like, if his son was a frat boy, would y'all be calling our cars to find him? Like,
Right.
mm, mm. It was speaking volumes,
Hmm.
you know. So,
I do appreciate like the slower pace of the film. I like a quiet
mhm,
movie, but then also I feel like it adds to like building the tension. We
mhm,
were saying this before we started recording.
yeah,
Um, so I like that a lot, especially because we know so little about the killer and
yeah,
all. So I feel like that's helpful. I already said I like how much everybody is a character, right? They have
mhm,
distinct personalities,
mhm,
which is not something you get a lot always
right,
in as a film. So,
right, right. Shoot, that's even if you get a personality for everybody,
hmm
you know. Yeah, but for me, the pacing wasn't it. It was a bit too slow for me, and yeah,
and you say you watched this one twice.
yeah, I had to watch this one twice because I got bored the first time I fell asleep.
I mean, it is slow and quiet, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but
So,
it's easy to be distracted.
right.
It's definitely easy to be distracted. But I get how this could have jump started that type of subgenre in films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think about the killer?
Um.
Think he was spooky or silly or
No. Sometimes silly can be spooky.
hmm
So he probably was more of a combination. But you just don't know how to play those type of people because they're really weird. You know. So, but it was a good killer.
now do you think there were two? Do you think it was one person? Do you think maybe they had been at the house before?
I took it as one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he was telling his own story about, the whole thing with the family story? It's very strange.
Mm-mm. No, I didn't pick up on that at all.
No, okay. No, because there's a lot of theories that he's like telling his own story and that he is Billy and it's talking about something that happened with his sister and his parents and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, you could go down that road. You could definitely make that argument, but yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about Black Christmas.
Black Christmas 2019.
Yes, you got this one.
Mm. Oh yeah, I did. All right, so yeah, this one. Um, did when did you see this one, or did you
This
ever?
was my first time.
Okay, yeah. So both of us, this was our first time with Black Christmas 2019, and
Mm.
with this one, it was uh in a small town again, and we are dealing with sororities and fraternities again as well. Do have a bit of that misogynistic tone. So they did. It seemed like they did pick up certain elements from the original and put them in this one. Um, with this one, Uh, the jump scares were more intense.
Mhm.
Uh, but we have initial person, ironically named Lindsay, gets killed in the opening credits, doing a snow angel in the process.
Right.
So, but yeah, Lindsay gets killed. R.I.P. to her. Um, and she spelled it right too. That's the funny part. But yeah, she was part of a sorority, and then another sorority. They have the main character in that sorority. She uh, was sexually assaulted by a guy in the fraternity,
Mhm.
and nobody believed her when she spoke out. Um, but this is some months past that
Yeah,
incident.
Riley.
And Riley, yeah. So some months past that incident and whatnot, and they're doing a Christmas talent show at that fraternity that the guy is a part of. And so
That was
she,
so wild to me.
yeah, yeah. And so she initially wasn't a part of it, but she choreographed it, and she was there at all the um, rehearsals and
Yeah.
co-wrote the song. And so the girls that were a part of it, one of them, Riley, saves from being sexually assaulted, and she was drugged. And
Okay.
so once she was saved, she thought that she was just drunk, but it was shown to the audience that she was actually drunk or drugged or whatever. So she ends up sending her home. Um, and so she ended up taking her place in the talent show. So they do this song, this Christmas song, dressed like the girls from Mean Girls
Yeah.
when they did their Christmas song. So they do this song, but the song is original lyrics, and they're calling out the guy for the sexual assault that he did against Riley or whatnot. So, of course, all the men are pissed, all the women are cheering, and then they leave and whatnot. So then the killings start. Well, the killing started with
Oh,
Lindsay, but
right.
yeah,
Right.
but yeah, they pretty much are the kids that don't go home for Christmas, and
Right. This is
they
the orphans dinner that they
right,
have this time.
right. So they're preparing dinner and whatnot. Also, the one mixed girl, because they have two sororities and they have one mixed girl in each sorority. So the mixed girl in each sorority, she is like a fight the power type person. She's that typical college student that uses her voice.
No,
And
it's her entire personality.
yeah,
But she's also like very selfish in a few
yeah,
ways.
yeah.
Like when Riley expresses discomfort around doing some things, she's like, "No, you should do it to show them how strong you are." It's like, "No, she said she's uncomfortable. Back off."
Hmm.
You know?
Right. She's very pushy. She's
Right.
very pushy.
And at one point, she talks about how she can use her father's credit card because he backed out of their trip to some island somewhere. And I'm like, girl,
Hmm.
what?
Right.
How rich are you?
Right. Right. Like she's probably paying cash for college. Like,
Right.
and it looks like it was a private school. So
It's like we should talk a little bit about that.
right. All right, let's dive into that. But yeah, so she um she has this petition to try to get this professor fired because the professor like yelled at her in class because she
Yeah.
went up against something that he was trying to teach in his curriculum.
Well, what it was is, and the professor is played by Carrie Ellies, who is the Dread Pirate Roberts from The Princess Bride.
Mm,
Wesley, as you wish,
mhm.
that's him. And his whole thing was like, oh, his curriculum was all white men. And she
Right.
asked him, "Don't you have literally anybody else on your syllabus?" Because he's
Mhm.
teaching the classics, you know.
Mhm.
And he humiliated her in front of the entire class for asking.
Right. And so now she has a petition to get him fired. And he's a bit salty about that. So, yeah, so they have this going on, and they also have the killer in the house. And the killer has he has started to kill a few people in the house. And then the phone calls, well, no, it wasn't phone calls, it was DMs.
Right. It's DMs on some app
Yeah,
called Yapper or something. I don't know.
right. It's kind of like an Instagram and Facebook fusion.
Mm.
But they, whoever the killer is, made a profile of the founder of the college.
Nathan Hawthorne.
Yeah. And so it's this, this dummy account that they're using to send these messages. They don't know who is behind the account, but these messages are getting sent to them. Um, and then people are starting to disappear. And yeah.
Now, here's the thing.
Hmm.
Chris, one of the things Chris had been doing was she got involved in some movement to have the founder's bus moved out of wherever it was previously because the dude was a slave owner, right?
Hmm.
And they have
In the
this,
north.
right, in the North, they have this
Hmm.
fraternity which is the founders fraternity. My first thought would have been, oh, it's them immediately.
You know, especially if they was really pissed about it being moved.
Right.
Because where
And
they
like
put it looks
their
nice.
whole icon is the bust.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, where they put it was a nice place. They set them up real nicely. But if they was really mad about the move, then yeah, all eyes should have been on them. But when Riley was looking for that one girl that almost got assaulted, she came across a ritual that they were doing. And so, and it had all this like black polish.
Ichor. That's what they used to
Yeah.
call them in books.
Yeah. So it had all that.
It looked like
And
thick black oil or sludge or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it did. It did. Um, and yeah, it was a little weird because they was a bit sloppy with it. It was on doorknobs and shit. So
Yeah, this is
it's
oof.
weird. Yeah. They also use it to like paint triangles on foreheads.
Yeah.
And it was like crying out of the statue's eyes.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
see what it's supposed to be like a visual representation of toxic masculinity and
Hmm.
how it flows through generations, right?
Well,
Because
okay.
founders bust or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, while they're in their sorority house and they're making this dinner, the orphan dinner and whatnot, that's they end up having an argument about, male misogyny and whatnot. And one of the girls' boyfriends was there. And he's been pretty silent for the most part, but this is the time that he decided to speak up. And he was just like, I'm tired
Now,
of y'all and y'all male bashing. Men are not the worst people. Y'all try to lump us all into one. And yeah, he was pissed. So him and his girlfriend got into it, and the girlfriend kicked him out.
he
So
made horrible points that were not even the same as hers. Just
no, no, they weren't. But he was fed up. He was fed up. So after he got kicked out or whatever, that's when the killer started to show himself. And he had on, a black hood, a mask, and he had a bow and arrow. And after I started seeing him with that bow and arrow, I looked on Amazon to see how much they cost because I want one now.
have you ever done archery?
No, no, I want.
I have as part of a Girl Scout camp 1 year. We did archery for our
Okay,
activity. It's a lot of fun.
it looked fun. It looked fun. So, but
I also found out their masks are formed after this thing called the Scold's Bridle, which was a real thing that
Mhm.
people used to put on women in particular
Mhm.
to keep them from talking.
Oh wow. So you know what my first thought came to when I saw the ritual, and
Hmm.
they was in that room or whatever, was the movie The Skulls. Have you ever seen the movie?
I haven't. I don't think so.
You know, I have put that on the list a long time ago for us to watch, but it's not available.
Oh. I
Yeah.
put the link for the Scold's Bridle so you can see.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh wow. They really did not want them to talk. Oh, that's terrible.
Yep. It functioned to silence the wearer from speaking entirely to prevent women from nagging. The Scold's Bridle was used on women. This prevented speaking and resulted in many unpleasant side effects for the wearer, including excessive salivation and fatigue in the mouth. For extra
Mm.
humiliation, a bell could also be attached to draw in crowds. I've also seen this depicted on enslaved women as well.
Yeah. I've seen something similar on slaves, but not necessarily this. Let me put that up here. That is it.
Right.
Mm, that's horrible.
It is.
That is horrible. That's inhumane. But yeah. Yeah, so yeah, they he the killer, he ended up getting one of the roommates that left, which presumably we thought that she was dead. But he got her when she was in the attic looking at lights. And so then the boyfriend ended up coming back after
Lights,
he,
Christmas lights expire.
right. But he ended up revealing himself and shooting at the girls and whatnot. He got one of the girls in the leg, so then they got away and hid in a room. And so they needed a medic, so they needed the phone, but they dropped the phone, so they had to go back out. One of them had to go back out. When she went back out, that's when she saw the boyfriend was back, and so he's in there talking all loud, asking where's girlfriend and stuff, and she's just like, "There is a killer here. Shut up."
Right.
Like
It's like he just cannot hear her. It's
he
so
at
frustrating.
all right, and then once he realized, then he wanted to play Macho Man. Reveal yourself. Come on out, you. And got stuck right in the eye. So he's dead now. And so then the killer comes out from where he
Right.
was shooting.
Oh, the
And
boyfriend was also like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for everything before. I had a really bad migraine."
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, which Riley's love interest, if you will, um complains about
Landon.
migraines too. Yeah.
Yeah.
He complained about migraines, so it has something to do with the spell.
Yeah, it has something to do
Yeah.
with it for sure.
Yeah. So um yeah, so the killer comes out and they have a all out fight. And she believe this is when she stabs him in the neck with the keys.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Because we saw Lindsay like put the keys between her fingers
yeah,
in the opening scene.
right, right. For that guy that was behind her randomly walking, that didn't have nothing to do with nothing. So yeah, that's how Riley got the killer up off of her. But then that's when it's revealed that there are multiple killers. And now the girls are out of that room. Um and Riley finds out that the fourth girl is not there. So now they got to figure out how to get up out of here. And they're fighting. Then we also see, because there was a scene where Riley did try to report um, her roommate missing because She was supposed to go to her mom's house, and the mom is saying that she never showed up. And when she tried to report, they had the worst cop, worst security, I should say, that worked at the campus. He was not trying to hear her at all.
Mm.
Um,
He was like, "Oh, she
but
just went off with her boyfriend."
yeah, right. Like she just wants to get lost. So she's doing this on purpose. So um, then we find
Oh
out
god,
that
and this was the same roommate who, like, burst into Riley's room before they were leaving and was like, "Ah, I lost my diva cup." What?
yeah, yeah, that was a bit weird. But in the same breath, the people that I know that have used the Diva Cup swear by them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why it's really weird to lose one.
Yeah, right. Because aren't they reusable?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, even more weird. Even more weird. Like I'm sure you're not supposed to put that in the washing machine.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So how can you lose
You
one Diva?
lose one.
And why do you just have one?
I mean, I understand some people may have one. Okay, fine. Sure. How do you lose it?
Right. You want to put that away for safekeeping, but who am I? I thought that was weird too, but then I was just like, well, I think the Diva Cup as a whole is weird because I can't grasp my mind around how it works.
Well, I've never used a Diva Cup, but I have used, like, the discs.
What is
So
that?
well, it's like a little flexi round, like this, right? Well, it looks like like a kind of like a flexi round, something that's maybe twice the thickness of a rubber band, right?
Mm,
And it has like a plastic cup attached to it, but it's kind of like the movable plastic, like you would have in like a plastic bag or something, right?
mm,
And so it's kind of the same concept where you insert and it fits to you and it collects in the bag.
mm. See, the way my trust is set up, I've been and put that in wrong or sideways or something.
Nope, you feel it.
Yeah,
You know
you
when you have
do.
it in there right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just can't trust it.
And then, well, the thing about that is that you can wear them for longer, and then you also
Mm,
don't have the risk of toxic shock syndrome with them.
mm.
And you can have sex with them on.
Oh wow, it's a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll wait my days. I'm okay.
Hey, it's all up to you.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, that was weird. Her losing it,
Yes.
but hey, stranger things have happened, right?
I suppose, girl.
Yeah.
All right. But the thing is, like, Riley gives her a pad, I think?
No, she gave her a diva cup.
She gave her a Diva Cup?
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she put it in
Uh, Immediately. Well, I
immediately.
was like, "What is it? No, no, no." We were
I'm
roommates.
sure it's not.
No, like,
Yeah.
never. It was
I'm
never a thing. Why would you do that?
right,
You just
right,
staring at her in the face. Like, what is happening?
right. Like the simplest maxi pad, I could not put in the way that she put in that diva cup. Like,
No,
I need to go to the bathroom. I need a
girl,
bit
if
of
you just don't
privacy.
go to the
I
bathroom,
need a bit of privacy.
just get out of my face.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was never a thing when we were in college.
Not at all.
Never a thing. So yeah. But yeah, she goes missing because she got killed and they left her outside on the balcony. I was like, golly.
Cold.
So my mind went straight for they gonna have to break her to put her in the casket.
Oh my god.
Like,
They could probably thaw her. You know.
yeah, I was thinking that too. They probably can thaw her, but by the time they find her, rigor mortis would have been set in. So rigor mortis and frost, they gonna have to break
No, no, I refuse.
her. But yeah, yeah, with the security. So she when she did do this report to the security guard that didn't care, they ended up going over to the fraternity house because she had an inkling that it may be somebody from there. And so they go over there, knock on the door, but all the guys are gone. All the guys are gone,
On a
and
ski.
on the ski trip, right? And so the professor pops up, and he was supposed to let the cleaning lady in, and while he's like fidgeting for the keys, he's talking to Riley, and he starts bringing up the issues that he's having, and then he realizes who he's talking to. So she started looking at him crazy and was just like, you know what, never mind, I ain't gotta go in.
Yeah.
So excuse me. So now we know that the professor is affiliated with this fraternity in some shape.
I guess he's like their house father or something.
No, I think he's more than a house father.
Well, he's definitely more than that, but at the very least, that would be why he would be there all the time.
I thought he was just like part of the fraternity because he didn't live there.
He didn't?
Mm-mm.
Are
No,
we
he
sure?
didn't live there. Well, if he lived there, he would have had the key to get in, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So, um,
Oh, we didn't anyway.
but yeah. So yeah. So he's a person of interest now in the audience eyes.
Well, also, one of my issues with this movie is it's very heavy-handed with its depiction of misogyny and sexism. And
Mm-hmm.
this professor in particular, one of the first scenes we see him in, he's being very he's trying to embarrass Riley specifically by doing a gotcha moment by reading this passage where he's like, well, what does this tell you about the author? And she assumes that the author is a man, and he's like, gotcha, it's a woman. Boom. Like, oh yeah, women can participate in
Yeah.
misogyny and patriarchy too.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. That's not
you know,
uncommon.
but he treats it like it's this huge victory. And she like did not even raise her hand to answer the question about this. He
Mm-mm.
picked on her.
Right. Right. Because of her affiliation, of course. So,
Right.
but yeah. So while while this stuff is going on or whatever, 911 gets a call, and then they call security. So security's like, I'm on my way. So they go to the house, and then the house that they go to ends up being the first sorority's house,
Yeah.
and they're in the middle of killing one of the killers. And so then that's when it's revealed that they are not just targeting one sorority, they're targeting two.
They're targeting them all.
Yeah. Yeah. And
The thing about the kill is well, we see like the sorority sister kill the guy,
mm,
and she kills him with the unicorn, glass unicorn sculpture.
yep, yep, she does. She does.
Because
And
they did like show that right in the beginning of that first scene because it's the same sorority from that scene.
hmm
And I was like, oh, okay. How are we gonna
yeah,
use this one? You know?
right, right. And so so yeah, they now we know, now it's revealed that there's multiple killers killing multiple or targeting multiple sororities. And what was annoying me was that they weren't taking the mask off initially, you know, but they were turning their backs on bodies and stuff like that. And it was just like, y'all can't do that.
There's a lot of things that annoy me.
hmm I'm sure. But they finally started taking the mask off, and they're like, oh, it's that one guy, but it's all black. Like they're bleeding black. And so then, they end up eventually, um, one of the girls in Riley's sorority gets killed. The one that got slashed in her leg, she ends up getting killed. But the mixed girl and Riley, they ended up leaving. And while they're leaving, um, where did they go?
They got in the van or the
Or
station wagon or whatever.
yeah, that was a what was that, a Cherokee? They ended up, yeah, they ended up leaving, and they ended up having words because they ended
Yeah.
up separating. That's what.
Well, Chris wanted to like keep on driving, basically.
Yeah.
And then Riley was like, "What happened to you being a fighter?" And da da da. Because
Hmm.
Riley had given because Chris had given Riley a speech about being a fighter or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and again, I was like, "What?" Because
Right.
all of a sudden, your character whose whole personality was "I'm a fighter" is suddenly not a fighter
Right. And the one
for a
that's
reason,
timid is the fighter.
right? Oh, she
Yeah.
found her strength again, so we can't have two strong people at once. What? What?
Yeah. 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 That was a bit
Yeah,
weird, but we had to separate them.
for some
So
reason,
yeah.
right? So after that, they're like, "Ah, you can't just talk anymore."
Right. So once they got separated or whatnot, that's when Riley is pretty much possessed, and she's going to the fraternity house to kick some ass with a shovel. And Chris is she runs into the other sorority, and they get in the car and they're like, "We gotta go."
Mhm.
And there goes the guy, the killer with the archery set after them now. So everybody ends up at the fraternity house. Riley runs into Landon. Landon is a DJ that left his DJ equipment at the fraternity house um, for that talent show. So he goes there.
Wild, wild decision, my
There's
guy.
no way. I don't
Crazy.
care how cute the girl is. There's no way. No way.
Yeah,
So
what? Like,
I was thinking that when he left. Like, what?
and
Why
he
are
did
you
not even take a jacket with him either. I was like,
at
"What,
all? Yeah, I
sir?"
noticed that too. I'm like, So, um, so yeah, so he and her um go back to the fraternity house. He realizes that his mixer got messed up at the party. So now he's pissed off. He's throwing shit all around, and that's when the guys of the fraternity that's in the secret society that with the hoods and all that, they start revealing themselves. So these are all the
Sounds
killers now.
interesting.
So now we see all the killers, and they pretty much, take Landon under their wing, and they possess him.
They
And
forced
so,
him,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, basically. And so, Riley starts seeing that they're a part of this ritual in that special room with the statue, and she sees that Landon's under possession, and so she gets revealed, and now she sees her sorority sister in there with them. That pretty much she didn't turn. So
Yeah. And she
then
was
the
about to
professor's
destroy the
there.
bus because Riley was had this idea about the bus. It's the same black stuff. Whatever. If I can destroy the bus, I can destroy their power, right?
Hmm.
She's about to destroy the bus, and she hears the girl screaming. And I
Yeah.
was like, "Girl, if you don't go and destroy that bus right now,
Right.
so
Right.
much more harm will come from you not destroying that bus
Right.
than if you
Right.
turn around and help us go right now.
Right.
It's a
Right.
Charlie problem. I'm sorry."
Hmm. Definitely. But yeah, yeah, so she gets brought into the center of the room. The professor is now talking to her, basically explaining how all this came about. Um, her sorority sister is trying to talk to her to tell her to conform. Um, yeah, it didn't really work. And then the guy that assaulted her reveals himself and pretty much, talks shit to her, saying that how she didn't try to ruin his life and all this kind of stuff. And then this guy comes in the room. I don't know who this guy is supposed to be. I was thinking that maybe he was like the guy that's on the statue, but we never see his face. So I don't know who he was. But they got these shrines that they didn't put stuff. They didn't put random stuff from each of the people that they want to murder. or
All the
have
stuff
possession
they said that
over.
was missing through the movie. Her
Yeah,
diva cup was there.
yeah. Her
The
clip.
vibrator that was supposed to be the gift to Lindsay in the first scene was there,
Yep. The hair
which I
clip was
thought was
there.
hilarious because
Yeah.
at one point the girl who lost the diva cup is like, "You think they're collecting all of our stuff?" And she's saying it as a joke, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's funny, blah blah." But no, they were actually
No, they
collecting
really
it.
were. They really were. It was the one girl that conformed. It was her necklace.
Hmm.
Like it was all these random things that they put in the shrine. And so this weird man comes in the room and he goes straight for the girl that conformed, snaps her neck.
Well, see,
And,
the thing is, like, the pledges are controlled by this black stuff that comes out of the butts, right? So when they put
mhm,
the thing on their head, they're like controlled by the fraternity now. So once they have those items from those women, they'll go and kill them. They're like kind of
mhm,
mindless killers at this point, which is like, well, that seems like they're not really consenting to all of this. Like,
mhm.
if they're under somebody else's control, are they really doing these things?
Excuse me. Um, I would say no. If they're under somebody else's control, they would be the person that would be at fault would be the one controlling them.
Right.
But in a court of law, I don't think that
Well, I
that's an
don't think we can talk
argument.
about this in a court of law. This is some
Right.
magical black goo from a bus.
Right. Like I don't think that's
I
a
don't
good
know how far.
argument.
Right. Not sure how far a court of law is going to go on this one.
Right, right. So, but yeah, they so yeah, the girls from both of the sororities end up coming and they have a all out brawl.
Yeah. And I
And
was I was I was I was wondering when the scene was gonna happen because I was looking at the poster and like they're all like geared up for ready for a fight or whatever. I'm like, where is this?
that's what I was saying when I was watching it too. I'm like, this is not what was sold to me,
No.
because I'm thinking that these are some badass bitches that are about to be like, taking back the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Is the get back.
Right. Where is it? You know? So they finally have this big old brawl and they some badass bitches because they kicking some ass. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Yeah.
So Riley, she ends up eventually going to the statue, and the ones of the fraternity that do see her like no, but she smashes it, and that breaks the possession
Hmm.
of Landon and whatnot. And he's so funny. He was just like, I was just so possessed, and then my migraines, and she was like, not now.
We can
That was
talk
funny,
about this later.
right? That was funny, but I mean, that was authentic to his character, so
Yeah.
I appreciate it. But yeah, but they ended up locking them in the room and running from the house, and the house burned down. And that was Black Christmas 2019.
Yes.
I do like this remake though.
Okay.
Yeah, I do like it. It was entertaining. You know, I like the updates that they did with
Hmm.
it. I like that it was multiple. It was a
Multiple
bit
what?
cheesy that multiple killers,
Okay.
but it was a bit cheesy with them being possessed.
Uh-huh.
That was a bit cheesy, but other than that, I enjoyed it.
Okay. I did not like
You didn't.
no. Um,
Why?
I didn't like again, like I was saying, they were extremely heavy-handed with the whole like misogyny and sexism part. Like it was way over the top. Like the
Yeah.
part that made that feel so menacing in the first one is how very much embedded it was in every day and in expectations from your partners and stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
It's the reality that makes it scary, and you're just going way over the top with this.
Yeah.
Like the whole toxic sludge is toxic masculinity, and it goes through generations and it can happen to anybody kind of thing. Like you really didn't need to do that with this whole supernatural angle. I feel like that really just kind of weakens the point a
Yeah.
lot. because
Yeah, I can
now
see
you
that.
have this whole situation where now you're like, well, are these pledges really doing what they want to be doing? Are they
Mhm.
really consenting to this? Because if that's the case, they're just as much victims as
Right.
anybody else here.
Yeah. But I feel like maybe not all of them. Like there was one that they killed that she saw kind of stumble. I think he may have been possessed.
I mean, they all are once they get the thing on their forehead. They all
Yeah.
are.
Well, yeah, that's true. But he it doesn't seem like he would have been like for fraternity material or
But
something like
I mean, that's my
that.
point is like they're not really consenting to these things that they're doing.
Yeah, right. Right.
And so now they're actually victims too, but we're killing them as a part of, you know, a part of practice of patriarchy, and it doesn't work.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it could have. It really could have. And then also, I feel like there's kind of a lack of decision with the tone, because at some points it feels like it wants to be campy,
Mhm.
which is great. It totally could be.
Yeah.
And then other parts it seems to want to be kind of more serious. Uh,
They're
and
dealing
I'm
with a lot of serious things for it
right.
to be campy.
And the thing is,
If they would have
you can
eased
do
up,
it. It
yeah,
takes balance. You can do it
yeah,
though,
right,
and it's
right,
just, but you didn't do it here.
right. Like if they would have eased up, like okay, I get that the girl was sexually assaulted months prior, but we didn't need that sexual assault that was about to
But
happen seen.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like she could have just like organically got too drunk to do the thing, and y'all could have sent her home.
Well, I understand that they were trying to show that, there are women who support patriarchy too, right?
Hmm.
Get that. Um, but yeah, it didn't have to be all that like that. Like you
Hmm.
can allude to things very well, and you don't actually have to go too
Yeah,
far with it.
yeah.
Um, but
And
yeah, there
do
were
we
things.
need the whole like sexual assault part of it as a whole? Like they could have just done the song
Right.
and we would have been done with it.
Yeah. Does it have to actually be part of the storyline, or
Yeah,
could it just be part of the storyline because sexism is a part of the storyline and
right,
that's wrapped up in it?
right,
It didn't really have to be that.
right, right. Because I mean, what outcome did we get outside of killing the killers? But they're
And
killers, so we're gonna kill
are they
them
killers?
regardless.
Because they didn't really consent, right? They have this mark on them and now they're under somebody else's control.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
See, it just muddies
I don't
things.
know.
That's
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. I wasn't a big fan of the possession part either. So
Yeah.
I like my killers knowing that they're killing.
Also, there's like a lot of just very, very stupid decisions
Hmm.
made by some of the people in this movie. And that just drives me up the wall.
Yeah, but that's what happens in horror. You're gonna have a whole lot of stupid.
No, you don't know. No, you're relying on some weak tropes. No, you don't have to do that.
Yeah,
She doesn't need to be searching for the cat for no reason.
yeah,
You're trying to catch a train. Okay, you
yeah,
just say goodbye to the cat later.
yeah. That annoyed my soul. Cause what are you doing, ma'am? Like I get, oh, can't find the cat. Dang, that sucks. Well, I know it's around here somewhere.
Right.
Anywho,
She'll be
my
fine.
cat, yeah. Anywho, my cab's here.
Right.
But you really went to go climb in the attic for a cat?
Searching high and low.
Ma'am.
What?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. So we kinda already brushed upon it, but let's get to our ratings.
Okay.
So we have one,
Yes.
movie real trash AF, two, it exists, three, entertaining, four, great, five, a true classic.
Mhm.
So for Black Christmas 1974, what say you?
I would probably say I would give it a 4.
Mm.
It has a reach beyond its years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're talking about its actually second like remake or continuation.
Yeah.
So they're
Mm.
borrowing from that film that you see in other. Has a great influence. Is what I'm saying. Has good
Yeah.
influence.
Okay. I gave it a 2.5. Yeah, I gave it a 2.5. It just the pace of it all just was I was just not here for it. It was, and like I said, I had to watch it twice, and it wasn't because I absolutely loved it. So, but Black Christmas 2019, Maria's, what say you?
Um, I'm going to go with a 1.
Wow. Oh wow. Okay. Um, I will go with a 3. I will go with a 3. It was entertaining to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and mainly because the pace was better, especially coming off of the first one. The pace was better, and it kept me watching the whole time.
So I would say that because it doesn't do what it's supposed to do
Mm-mm.
as a horror film, as the remake of this horror film in particular. It doesn't hit the themes very well at all. I didn't find it nearly as scary or suspenseful or anything at all.
Mm-mm.
I was very bored.
Mm. Wow,
The first
we
one, at
are
least,
completely
the first
opposite.
one at least creates suspense,
Mm-hmm.
tries to maintain a whole suspense and mystery. Um, you do get some surprises and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as a like horror slasher film goes, I feel like it succeeds. It succeeds at that
Okay.
in ways that the 2019 film did not.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We are completely split. So, um, yeah. Anybody drop down in the comments and let us know if you've seen them before. Which one do you prefer? And what are your agrees or disagrees with what we've said on this episode? So yeah, that was Black Christmas 1974 and 2019.
Yes.
What are we gonna do next time?
I think it's your pick.
Yeah, it's my pick. Let me see. Go to my trusty uh list. Have you ever seen Blood In, Blood Out?
Let me see. No.
All right.
1993?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
no. I'd say
Blood
no.
In, Blood Out, bound by
I don't recognize any of these white men.
the white man playing Mexicans. So yeah, it's on Hulu. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. Then Blood In, Blood Out is what we will be watching.
All right.
And I haven't seen this since 1993. So
Oh my goodness.
all
It'll be
right. So
interesting to
Maria,
see what you think.
you're right, right. So Maria, where can we find you?
You can find me online pretty much anywhere. If I'm there, I'm there at Valor More Dollars. That's VALARMOR Dollars. Also have another podcast with 5 other Black women where we talk about nerdy, geeky, tech, pop culture things called Nerdgasm Noir. So you can find me there as well. Where can they find you, Lindsay?
You can find me everywhere at L_Renell, except on Blue Sky. I'm L-Renell on Blue Sky. So, but yeah, there, and then also on my other podcast, the Issue Talk, where me and my cousin we talk about a variety of topics.
Mm-hmm. Hot topics.
Yeah, and we We normally don't touch on housewives, but this past episode we did talk about Carrie Huger's DUI conviction and the
Uh-oh.
body cam footage. So yeah, but
Not
yeah.
body cam footage.
Oh yeah. So you haven't seen that body cam footage either.
Well, no, I'm not really I don't really watch Housewives a lot because
Mm-hmm.
they argue a lot, and I find that stressful. So, it's just
That's
like,
fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I can feel stressed for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Marcus, he doesn't watch Housewives at all. So he didn't know who that was. And
Yeah, I have
so
no idea who that is either.
yeah. So like I send him a list of the topics we're gonna do, and he goes and he does his research for the show. And he told me that once he started looking that up, he was like, "Oh, I gotta go see this body cam footage." Yeah, it's bad. It was bad. It was
Oh,
bad. So,
one other thing I wanted to say is Smut Book Club is going to do a live episode on YouTube, a little pizza party episode.
oh, that
So
sounds fun.
you should definitely come through. They're going to be talking to Katrina Jackson, a really good
Okay.
author. So definitely check out Nerdgasm Noir so you can see what the schedule for that's going to be. Because I believe it's coming up before the end of the year. So want to
Okay.
have some
Yeah.
fun over the holidays. That's one way to do it.
Yeah, definitely send me the link to that because I
You got
definitely
it.
want to be in attendance. That sounds
Yes.
fun. Yeah. All right. Well, that was episode 69 of Roomies Review the Movies, and we will see you guys for the new year, episode 70, with
Yes.
Blood In, Blood Out.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Have